Imagine a body artist going and doing a 3-day course and then doing like sleeves on people. Welcome back. Today's hot topic is the permanent makeup industry oversaturated. So if we look at the definition of oversaturated, that basically means exceeding its capacity. So on one hand, it's a definite no for me, but is it oversaturated with artists delivering outdated techniques? Yes. And is it oversaturated with trainers delivering training in an outdated paradigm? Yes, and the two are going hand in hand. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm in a unique position where I get to speak to a lot of artists every week that often will phone up just to discuss product, but then have a chat about their business. And I've always got some extra time while I'm packing orders or just working on the business to have a chat with artists. And it's their opinion that it is.
Why is that? What's the issue?
Clearly, they're not busy. And I think a lot of the time they want reassurance that they're not alone, that everyone is in the same boat. What I often say to those artists who can be quite a lot younger than me and perhaps haven't experienced the economy go through these peaks and troughs in the past, that it may actually be the economy and not so much that our industry is oversaturated.
I literally said something similar to another artist just recently who was basically complaining that her books were empty and she'd never experienced it before. And I was like, but it's February. February is always quiet in our books. I'm ready for February. My business coach starts preparing me in December for February. So there's that. But I mean, in my position, because I've been around for a really long time, I have enough clients in my client base that I'm doing enough refreshes. If I never took another new client again, I'd still be busy until the end of the year.
You actually said that to me once in a training session.
Did I?
Yeah, that there were quiet times and that watch what happens after Easter. It just picks up and stays up.
Yep.
And not to panic too soon in those early months.
And managing your cash flow. A lot of, especially new artists, underestimate the importance of doing that, paying yourself a wage rather than just doing owner drawings out of the business account. The other thing that I'm finding is that I don't think that the industry is oversaturated when you consider the demand. Like when I started doing my cosmetic tattoo training 15 years ago, nobody knew what it was. Back then, it was just little old ladies with no eyebrows that were getting it done. And back then, you couldn't do just a course in eyebrows because eyebrows weren't a thing. If you did a cosmetic tattooing course, and you would remember this, it was brows, lips, and eyes, and it was in 4 days. So, and that is the training delivery that I'm talking about that is outdated, that needs to change. And that's a big part of the reason why I became a trainer, because I wanted to be the change. I wanted to change the way that training was delivered. It's a skills development. It needs to be a program. It needs to be unlimited. It needs to be kind of like an apprenticeship, which is what body artists do.
Stemming from that, your point that you just made about in 2015 is when it peaked.
Yes.
But when it peaked, because I didn't enter the industry till a few years after that, around 2018.
Yep.
Even though we had to do all that training that you said on all the parts of the face, it was only brows that were popular.
Yeah, that's right.
And that were booming in that period. So how would you describe oversaturation when we're now seeing the same client potentially 3 times with eyebrows? We've got the increase in eyeliner with the shadow technique.
Yeah.
With that really soft brown, that smoky shadow I'm talking about, the shadow eyeliner, and lip blush, which has taken off.
Yeah, massively.
So have we not increased our potential so that our one client has now become 3-fold?
Yeah, we've expanded our service offerings. So I think that artists that are struggling and blaming the industry as being oversaturated, I think the issue there is either they don't know enough about running a business or growing a business, which is totally understandable because most PMU artists are coming in and going, I really want to do eyebrows. I am artistic. I'm creative. I love this. What they don't realize is that there's what are you going to do with those skills once you learn them? So some people are really good at their skill, but they don't quite understand how to promote it. Whereas other people, unfortunately, are in a position where they know how to promote themselves. They're really good on social media, they're influential, but their skills aren't great. And unfortunately, I think that there are a lot of those scenarios, and that is partially what can give the industry a bad name when there's people running around with really bad work on their face done by, we've done so much correctional work, and the client always blames themselves. They're like, I should have done more research. I went to this artist and I'll know the artist. And I'm like, you know what? That artist has a great front. Their page is beautiful. When you look at, now I'm going to get, don't come at me microbladers, but when you look at a microblading before and after on Instagram, it's stunning. It's beautiful if it's done well. If you look at those same eyebrows 6 to 12 months later, a lot of the time they will just be a blurred in, discolored block of color. Now, there are some incredible microbladers out there that don't have this issue. They just have nailed it, but there is not one beginner out there that will see their microbladed eyebrows in 12 months' time and not hate themselves a little bit.
I must say I lasted 5 minutes as a microblader.
You even did the fee brows course. I remember you paid like $5,000 for it.
But I really
online.
didn't do very many clients in that technique. I went to shading, ombre shading.
I bladed the masses. I bladed everybody. And then a few years later, I was doing a whole, let me fix that for you. You know what? I'm not going to charge you today.
So when it comes to that feeling that artists are clearly having, that they feel that it's oversaturated, and I'm talking more about the economy with them and how it hits people different ways. So when, and I might tell people, come clean, that I have a background in finance and accounting. And so I have a passion for understanding the economy, what the effects of interest rates are and inflation. When we increase interest rates, it doesn't affect everyone in Australia the same way. So those who are mortgage holders, have new mortgages, are going to be hit the hardest. And unfortunately, they will be, say, in their 30s, young families. Boomers, they own their property. In fact, they may actually have money in the bank. So interest rates going up benefits them.
You are right. Actually, one of the artists that works here, she specifically, her target market is mature eyebrows, and it's even written in her bio, I create age-appropriate eyebrows. So when we were all complaining about recession, financial downturn recently, she was steaming because the elderly aren't as affected. They own their homes and they've got their sweet little pension or their superannuation. Or
their disposable income was going to be higher.
Yeah.
And then they're less affected by the economy.
They don't have kids to pay for anymore.
Obviously, we all have those.
Unless it's my
Everyone
dad.
talks about the increased costs of living, and that affects everyone. But yeah, we're not all affected equally when it comes to inflation.
Exactly. So when you look at your different target market, you have to look at what are they like as buyers, as spenders. When you look at I think the 20 to 40-year-old, they will spend their last dollar on aesthetic. But they don't necessarily afford it.
What are your thoughts when you see places like where I'm from, my hometown, the Gold Coast?
Yep.
So the Gold Coast, it's always been with body art, tattooists, there's one on every corner. Everyone's got a tattoo though, so why not? Enough bodies for everyone. It seems, I think, the same for cosmetic tattooing. Do you think certain areas are oversaturated like the Gold Coast?
Well, again, there's a higher demand in the Gold Coast. Everyone is glamorous. Further down the coast, it's a little bit more of an alternative crowd. But there is a huge demand for beauty and cosmetic beauty in the Gold Coast. And so there are new artists emerging there. If they get their foot in the door in the right direction and if their skills are good, then they will do well. If they're doing outdated skills and they haven't evolved, then they're not going to be busy. So for example, there's a lot of artists that are still doing that kind of, we call it an ombre, but we all went through a phase where we were doing basically a block brow with a pixelated front. So I personally think that look is outdated. It's fine with makeup, it's still okay, but for tattooing, it's not nice. It's not aging well, it's discoloring, it doesn't go with a natural face. You need a face full of makeup for it to look okay. That look, I think, is outdated. Also, because where we have that soft pixelated front, that's fading within a few months. So then where you've got the higher color saturation, that intensity through here, that's hanging around. So clients are coming back for a refresh and they've just got these big blocks of color that's stuck in their skin because it's been oversaturated. So that, in my opinion, is an outdated technique. I think if somebody wants ombre or powder brow techniques now, we should be doing a very airbrushed look. So it could be more forgiving, not so high definition. I love creating that look with the Magnum needle. It's like the difference between colouring in with a crayon versus colouring in with a sharpened pencil. It's just a softer dispersion of colour. It looks better with a natural face. Anyway, I really digressed there. So I just wanted to give some examples on outdated techniques. So what else are your thoughts on the Gold Coast? You mentioned something earlier.
Well, I think on the Gold Coast, I mean, everyone knows when you get off that flight, the humidity hits you. If your brows aren't tattooed, your makeup's off by 11 a.m. So
yeah, plus there are all
everyone's
surfies up there. They're all
tattooed
going
there.
in the water. So we have shifted into a space where everybody is wanting to look their best all the time. So that takes us back to, again, no, it's not oversaturated because the demand is there. Everyone likes to have their eyebrows done, but not everyone wants to look done.
So do you think that partly that people's view that we're oversaturated is social media, what we're being fed in the algorithm?
Yeah, a big part of it is that. And also another part of it is if someone doesn't understand about the periods of busy and quiet, so their cash flow projections. I think it's more about understanding your numbers and preparing for quiet periods, because as business owners, you can't
Sell ice cream in winter?
You can if you have my kids. It's not as consistent as a business owner. And I mean, there are a lot of businesses that are affected by the weather, who wants to get their car washed when it's raining?
In beauty, one of the businesses that is affected by the weather or the summer months is laser hair removal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They're really quiet during that summer season and they prepare for that.
Yeah. And that's why they have other services, which I think is also important. When I have students reaching out to do the eyebrow training, I think it's fantastic to start with just the eyebrows and build their skills. But I always advise them, don't pigeonhole yourself into a name that is just about brows, because you will need to, or you will later, hopefully, add more skills and services like the eyeliner and the lip blushing. We can really create a beautiful kind of bitten lip sort of look now. People don't have to have that wake up with makeup look. So there isn't anyone that isn't suitable for lip blush.
Yes, that's true.
So in summary, I think Viv and I both agree that we don't think it is an oversaturated market at all, and that there is high demand and that demand is growing. I do think it is, however, important to stay at the forefront of managing your cash flow, understanding your numbers, and really getting your head around the aspects of a business or running and growing a business, unless you can afford to pay someone to do that for you.
I agree. So I think there's enough faces for everyone. And I also think that your point on evolving with your techniques, people don't want that made up brow anymore. And so the nano technique is something that everyone should be offering. The consumer is aware of that now, that there is a different way of doing it. If you don't offer it, they won't be seeing you.
No, I'll go elsewhere.